Welcome to part 2 of the Gold Watch tutorial. In this one we are going to do the materials, and we're going to finish up with the Roman numerals. So first thing you're going to need is a add-on called Font Selector. You don't need it, it just makes things a lot easier to find your fonts. So looks like this right here. I've linked it in the description below. It's free, so go ahead and download that. You can pause the video and then come back. Once you have it installed though, when you create a new text right here, go over to your font, and down here at the bottom you have font selection, and I've also linked a Roman numeral font, and it's VIP Roman. It's also free. It's from defont.com. So once you download and install that, what you'll do is select it, and this makes it so you can, we'll start with 12. Select that guy there, and we'll probably have to resize this, I'm not too sure. And since everything that we built, we formed around the center, what we can do is hit Shift C and bring the cursor back to the center. Make our pivot point our 3D cursor, and when we duplicate this and then rotate it, it'll rotate right along there, nice and neat for us. Let's see, there we go. So I just deleted that one because I want to set this one up, and then when I duplicate it I can just change the text and it'll have all of our settings. So once you have your font, looks good, go over here and we can extrude it up a little bit. Again, how far you do everything is totally up to you. The depth kind of gives it a little chiseled look. I think I did that on mine. I didn't do it too much though. Your resolution will kind of act like your bevel tool. It'll smooth out these edges in here. We can put it at 3. Why not? Looks good. And let's see. Okay, so yeah, that did extrude quite a bit. I'll just push that into here. Let me go back to our camera view as 0. Yeah, that sticks up. It's pretty noticeable. I'm going to hit 7 to go back into top view, and if it looks weird up here where it says perspective, hit 5, and that'll take you back to orthographic mode. This just flattens everything out, makes it a lot easier to work. So now that I have my text selected the way I want, I can Shift D and then hit R. I'll rotate that guy. Actually, let's go here. Let's do the 3. That way they're remotely spaced out correctly. So tab, backspace to delete it, and 3 is just 3 eyes, and that keeps our same extrude and bevel. So let's just keep doing that. Shift D, duplicate it, right click, keep it in place, R. I'll put the 1 about there. Tab in edit mode. There's 1. Shift D, right click, R, and it's kind of getting skewed. Whoops. So it's not at the angle that I want it to be at, so I'm going to change it back to bounding box. I'm going to rotate it kind of how I want it. Oh, geez. All right. There we go. Got it that time. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, it looks fine. All right, let's go ahead and make the rest of the letters. Shift D, right click. Oh, make sure you change your pivot point back to the 3D cursor. Let's make the 6. 6 will be about there. And you're not really going to see these. I just want it to look decent if I ever do happen to do a different render. Alright, so let's go ahead and do 4 and 5. Put that back to the 3D cursor. Pivot point, Shift D, R. Tab into edit mode. Delete them. Oh, I guess I didn't need to delete both of those. And Shift D, R. And on my original render, I had a lot of people saying that they wanted to see it like this. I don't know. I'm old, I guess, and I just remember seeing Roman numeral 4 like that. You can make it however you want, though. So if you want to make it 4 eyes, that works. If you want to make it a number 4, it works too, I guess. Whatever you like. I'm going to rotate that just a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. This one, just need to add another eye. Maybe I'll bring that guy down a little bit. Oh. Now we're going to be in... Oops. Duh. The X's. It's a little close for my liking. I think you can actually space these. Yeah, letter spacing. Oh, yeah, that's way cooler. I wish I would have done that back up at the 12, but that's all right. We'll, whoops. I can go and change those settings. There. And my computer's running slow right now. There we go. All right. Now we're at 10. About there. Just add your eye. You guys don't have to create Roman numerals. You can do whatever you like. I just thought they kind of look cool. I'm just kind of spacing them out a little bit. Don't really need to, but it's what I want to do. This guy I don't feel like is exactly where it should be. And I've got my cursor just set to bounding box right now. You can set your bounding box with comma button. And that'll switch if you're in 3D cursor mode. Hit your cursor. It goes to bounding box. So yeah, I like that. I think it's kind of cool how high they are. Alright, so now for the materials. I have also linked where I got the materials. You guys shouldn't have a problem getting any of those. What I just did here, I'll go back. So let's do the materials for this inner piece right here. I'm gonna hit Shift H and hide everything but that. And I think we were working in the Canada loft. Yeah, this one. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna get up close to this guy. And if you don't have this, actually you should have this. I haven't changed anything since the... Okay, so my audio cut out. So let's do this again. Well, at least for me. I think I was saying that we should all have this as the default gray material still. I don't want 18 things to be this new color and texture and roughness that I'm going to use. So I'm going to click this. Let's make it individual. Now I'm going to come down here and give this kind of a gold tint. Again, you can make it whatever tint you want. Crank up the metallic slider to 1. It doesn't matter where you put your roughness right now because we're going to put a image map in here. So hit Shift A, S for search, and then just type in IM, and that'll pull up your image node right here. Now these textures are from, let's see, these two are from Polygon. They're free, so you just make an account. It takes 2 seconds, and you can go search by free textures. I think this one came from cc0textures.com, and these came from zomax.com. I'm going to link that below. I believe the guy that made these is Cornelius Damerich or Damerich. I don't really know how he pronounces his name, but I will link all this in the description below. I think I'm going to use these, so I might not include these. I don't know. We'll see what we use, but I'm going to try this guy first. So let's open that image texture, and anything that does not go into here, that goes here, you always have to change it to non-color data. Also, we did not unwrap this, and we don't need to. Whoops. Click this and hit Control T. You should still have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled. So if you click this guy and go into rendered view, doesn't look like it has anything. Change this to generated, and we'll see our image texture here. And we're going to need to add a color ramp. That way we can actually modify this a little bit. So Shift A, S, and ramp. I pretty much never go through all of this to find what I need. I just find it a lot faster if I'm going to hit Shift A, move my finger over, and hit S for search. And I know what the nodes are, what they're called, so might be a little bit easier for you just to do that. So I want to preview this, so I'm hitting Control Shift and clicking this color ramp. I'm going to go into render view, and where you see black, that will be reflective. Where you see white, that will be imperfections. So I'm going to flip this around. Just click this guy right here, this little double arrow. And let's see. Actually, I lied. There. I think I already flipped it around. So that looks like a lot of surface imperfections. Let's control shift click on the principal node and hit 0 for our camera view. And I don't really like that. I might play with my Z rotation. It's not bad, but I want the imperfections not to stand out as much. So I'm gonna click over here, my white flag, and bring this closer to gray. And that'll actually minimize the effect. And then if you want this shinier, or I guess more rough, go closer to 1, and that'll really make it rough. I'm gonna go probably right here. I think that looks good. And it had some bump to it. So for that, just add a noise texture in. Just hit Shift A, S. Not a nose texture. Oh, I can't type. Noise texture. Move that here. We need to feed that through a bump. So color into the height, normal to the normal. And you can see there's some big old noise patterns here. I want these to be very small. So maybe like 200. That seems pretty small. Strength, I want around 0.1. I don't want it very bumpy, but I want it to show a little bit. Yeah, I can see that there. And now you can go back in and mess with your reflection. So I think I like that. I think that kind of looks cool. So play with this, get it how you want it, and you don't have to go gold. You can go red, yellow, play with it. It's kind of cool. I just went with gold just because that was what the original render I based it off was. I think that original one too, this piece was way more rough. And I talked to the creator of it, and he said that this was rough that way, where the case is around it, it didn't just fade into it. There was actually a defined separation, which was pretty cool. I didn't think about that until after he said that. So maybe I'll try that on this one. See what happens. Sure, there we go. All right, and on to the next pieces. Let's go to the outer case. Let's hit Alt A. Actually, let's go to this interior piece, because really you won't see this. Well, at least in this render you won't. You guys might want to texture it up depending on how you're gonna display this. Hit Shift H. That will hide everything but what's selected. So for this guy, I am going to add an image texture again. I'll connect this up here. Oh geez, let's disconnect that. Make sure you click this to make it its own individual element. I mean, if you want everything to look the same and have the same roughness map, you can try that, but since nothing's unwrapped, it might really look weird on some stuff. Change that to non-color data, hit Control T, and we can grab, is this what we used last time? We use this one. Let's try this one. The pack, the thing that you're going to download is going to have all these in there. So you guys should have all these. Let's see, what do you look like? And nothing, because I don't have a UV map. So object, Super stretching, no thanks. You can change, if you get this, sometimes you can change this to box. There we go. And if you have some really defined creases, which I don't really see, you can blend the creases together. I might leave this and see what happens. Shift A, S, add a color ramp. And whatever the thumbnail video is, that's what this guy's going to look like. And remember, white is your imperfection, black is your reflection. So I'm going to invert these, bring way more black into here. I don't know if I like this because it looks like it's tiling. Let's try generated. First, let's put this back to flat and then try generated. I don't think I'm going to win here. Oh, there we go. That looks terrible. Go back to box, object, and you won't really see a lot of this. We might be able to move around our map to give it a little bit of variation. There we go. Now it doesn't look so repeating. I just changed my Y rotation to 28.8 degrees. And this is going to have a lot of imperfections here at first. Let's also change this to gold. Alright, so that gold looks good. Let's see how this looks. Not that bad. I thought we would see a lot more imperfections. I might leave that as is, really. I don't think it's that bad. Looks kind of cool. I don't know why, but I've always liked smudged up, more of grungy models. So yeah, alright, oh, that guy's done. Let's see. You could name these, that would probably help. Say inner ring. And Alt H will bring everything back. Oh yeah, we did this too. Inner ring. I don't know, groove. Since I have weird grooves in them. Sounds good to me. Now this guy. Oh. Let's single this one out. And I want this to have the same gold as this one here. So with this selected, I'm going to hold shift, click the one we just did, hit Control L, and copy the materials. I'm probably going to change up the image texture. But we can always look at it. It might be cool. So select it, Shift H, render view. Yeah, that does not look cool. That looks terrible. So since we're going to change this and we copied it off of another material, we need to make sure this one is single. And I'm going to change this to inner cutout or inner cut. Yeah, since we did a bunch of bools. Generated. Actually, generated looks pretty cool. Yeah, got a lot of smudges. Still a bit of reflections. Maybe bring that down a little bit, make it a little more shiny. That would help. Make sure you connect this into your roughness, not the metallic. For some odd reason, I did that. Drag your metallic slider all the way up. I don't know what I was thinking on this one. So here, after you single this one out, it's already gold. It should already be metallic. If not, drag that guy up. and connect your image texture to your roughness map. There we go. Looks pretty good. Make that guy pretty smudged up. I like it. It's a little thick. I think I'm going to get out of render view, hit S and Z. Shrink it down a little bit. Let me see what that does to the model. Sorry I keep clearing my throat. I'm going to move it up a little bit. I have a cold, so hopefully I'm not sniffing and coughing too much. Let's give this a render. Shift Z, or click this guy and go up to rendered view. This is taking forever for me right now. Probably because I'm recording as well. I should have saved. Always save before you render, after you make a bunch of changes. Because redoing everything is not fun. I actually had to do that today at work. Alright, I like that. The weird groove piece, is looking a little green to me. Let me pull some of the green back. No? Alright. That looks better. And I'm not on my color calibrated monitor right now. I don't know why I'm not. So if you guys are on a good monitor and it looks good, then leave it. If not, here's my RGB that I just changed it to. So let's do these letters. I think the letters I just grabbed. I clicked the inner bool part, click the letter, and hit Control L. Oh wait, no, other way around. Sorry. You want this guy to take this guy's color. It's a dumb way to remember it. Control L, materials. There we go. Thinking back, probably should have done the color as well when we made the first one. That way when we mirrored them, they would all have the same image texture and color. Now, let's see how these are looking. I'm going to hit Shift H. They might look terrible. I don't really care about the smudges on here. Yeah, that looks fine because they're so small and far away, and pretty much only this one is really in focus. Looks kind of cool though. Might be able to make a cool title sequence with this. Render that guy out, animate it, look pretty cool. So I'm gonna get out of render view, bring everything back. I'm gonna take all my letters though. I think this works. May as well try it with 3 selected. Click this one again. Control L, materials. Yeah, that works. So hold shift, click one, hold shift, click another one. Keep holding shift. Select the rest. Still hold shift. Click that one. Control L, materials. Yay. Alright, that wasn't that bad. And for the gear, actually let's do a render. We might have made everything gold. I could be wrong. Alright. Come on, computer. Do not crash. Okay, good. Almost there. Yay. And not everything is gold. Perfect. I was worried about the hands and gears and whatnot. Oh yeah, we didn't do the outer case. We can do that real quick. So we can select our outer case, select the inner groove part, Control L, material. So that should go all fancy real quick. There we go. That has a lot of roughness on it. Let's hit 0 and see if we can even see it. Yeah, we can't really see it, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. You may want to do whatever you want to do. Change it, make it your own. Okay, so let's go into the gears. So I'm going to stop my render. And let's select this this main gear here. And this one does say 14. And most of these I do want to be silver. So let's change this to material. And I do this sometimes just to see, just get a quick view of what I can change and what I'll mess up. Alright, so that looks awesome. That should be the thumbnail. It looks that good. Alright, blue. Okay, so pretty much all of this will be whatever color we make this gear if we don't make it a single user, which I want a lot of this to be silver and I only want a few to be gold. So I think it might be easier if we just do the same thing to all of them and then change a couple when we're all done to gold, or if you like them all silver, leave it silver. So I want that's a little bright. Bring that guy down to there. And I'm going to save because I'm going to render. Actually, you know what? I'm going to solo this and then I'm going to render. Oh yeah, that's way better, huh? Way faster. So, let's smudge this guy up too. So, image texture. And we can open up one of the ones we already used. I'm not sure. Let's just go into where we were. Where the 5 we were using is. This one looks gross. We'll use that one. And non-color data. Roughness. Looks terrible. Hit Control T. And Control Shift, click on this one. Generated. Yeah. Maybe. Object? Absolutely not. Back to generated. Flat, let's change that to box. That should fix the sides here. It did. Add in a color ramp. So Shift A, S, color ramp. Control Shift, click on that one. And right now this will be very rough. You normally want a black map with white imperfections. However, I think this one was for, I forget what it said. It's in the description, but usually I think it was 3ds Max uses white with black imperfections. Let's flip that. That's a lot of imperfections. So I'll drag this up because I want way more shiny than I do imperfections. Render that. And maybe I want a little more. imperfections. So I'll bring that back down. I'll bring this guy up. See where they're all at. Alright, so I like the amount, but I don't like the strength of them. So again, white flag selected. Click here, bring this closer to gray, and it'll kind of chill them out a little bit. And honestly, you might not even see these, so if you want to see them, let's leave them up here and see what happens. So Alt H. Let's do a render view. Save. And let's see what happens. Any day now. I might cut this and fast forward. Or my computer will melt and all of this will be lost. There we go. Hey, I like it. I do like that. I didn't have all this silver before. Ooh, and it would be cool maybe if we made the lettering silver up here. Let's get distracted by shiny colors and try that. What was it? Material? Is that the one that we were just on? Yeah. Alright, it wasn't as cool as I thought it would be. Slightly disappointed. It's okay though. I think that'll make it back to gold. And it did. So if you want some of this gold, you can definitely just click. Whoa, okay. Yeah, we'll click you, I guess. Let's make this one gold. So individual user or individual data. Make this one gold. I'm going to click this one right here. There's pretty much no rhyme or reason to why I did anything the way I did. I just click stuff, change colors until I thought it looked cool, and that's how I came up with the final render. I did have a pretty cool base to go off of with the original project that I linked back in the first video, which you guys should definitely check out because it's awesome. I don't like this piece here. It doesn't make sense. I also don't know how they all work exactly. So don't be too mad at me if I have my gears placed weird and you're a watchmaker and you're screaming at me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I apologize. Okay, that one's selected. Material 02, that should be our gold one. It is. Let's zoom back out. Let's not freeze anymore. And I'm going to change my camera angle. I don't like all this space right here. I think I want this more filled, like the frame more filled. Also, see how this piece does fade into this background? I don't like that now that he pointed that out. So I'm going to make this a little bit more rough. Not as in grunge wise, but as in reflection wise, like this way. Ooh, I like that because now the letters pop. Numbers, even though they're technically letters. Whatever, you know what I mean. I think this, I don't like how rough it is. Oh, well, I didn't catch that. Maybe you guys caught that. I didn't have this plugged in right. I did that dumb thing that I did earlier. I'm glad I clicked that. Sorry if you were screaming at me to change that, or you commented on it. But, and I crashed. So, I put my metallic to 1. Made my base color gold. Sorry, can't talk. Color ramp. Modified it how I liked it. And now I'm going to do a render. I'm going to solo this part. And luckily, if you guys ever crash and you haven't saved recently, the autosave feature might have saved you. You go to File, Recover Autosave, and it's the most recent one. Like mine was named this, and now it's recovered. Because I didn't learn my lesson just now, I didn't save it. So I'm still working off the autosaved recovered file. Don't be like me. Save frequently. There we go. I like that. You can see the reflection of the numbers there. Let's see what happens. This is when I crashed last time. I went to increase the roughness and Blender said no and turned off. It was awesome, let me tell you. There. And I don't know if I said this before I crashed, but I want my camera to angle down more. I don't like all this space right here. So I'm going to stop rendering. And I'm going to I'm going to right click on my camera. And I like playing with these. It's just kind of easier for me. If you don't like messing with this stuff, then I guess you can always go over here, front view, rotate it down like there. But now I'm not flat. I want that at 0. There we go. Rotate on my Z. Maybe go down a little bit. No, go up. There we go. I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to go up. Then I'm going to rotate down. There we go. And see, now I'm still at 0, whereas if I use this, see how it's going off at a weird angle? I don't like that. Takes a little longer, but I think the result's a little bit better. You get a little more control. Okay, let's see how this looks. I didn't save again. Oh, should be okay. So this scene is has 9.5 million faces in it. That's pretty cool. And when you guys get done with this, post a link to whatever you created, maybe some different angles, maybe different color variations. That would be cool too. Or maybe you have the full watch with the leather band and whatnot. I would enjoy seeing that. I posted this over at blenderartist.org, and it's in the tutorial section, and a guy, he posted his what he's created so far, and it looked pretty cool. I thought it was really neat that I was able to help somebody make something kind of cool. I do want this more reflective, this inner groove part. There we go. I like that. Yeah, it blends in. I know, but I think it looks pretty sweet. I think I'm going to call it quits on this guy. I'm happy with it. I think it looks sweet. Hopefully you guys have some cool results. I hope I was able to teach you some stuff. I'm going to have a lot more tutorials coming. They're going to be a lot shorter. I'll have a couple big ones like this, but I have another baby on the way, so I won't have a ton of time to be doing big stuff like this. But I'll have time for some shorter, awesome ones. So I hope you like this video, and there will be a lot more in the future. Thanks. Bye. And I crashed. So, I put my metallic to 1. Made my base color gold. Sorry, I can't talk. Color ramp. Modified it how I liked it. And now I'm going to do a render. I'm going to solo this part. And luckily, if you guys ever crash and you haven't saved recently, the autosave feature might have saved you. You go to File, Recover Autosave, and it's the most recent one. Like mine was named this, and now it's recovered. Because I didn't learn my lesson just now, I didn't save it. So I'm still working off the autosaved recovered file. Don't be like me. Save frequently. There we go. I like that. You can see the reflection of the numbers there. Let's see what happens. This is when I crashed last time. I went to increase the roughness, and Blender said no and turned off. It was awesome, let me tell you. There. And I don't know if I said this before I crashed, but I want my camera to angle down more. I don't like all this space right here. So I'm going to stop rendering. And I'm going to right click on my camera. And I like playing with these. It's just kind of easier for me. If you don't like messing with this stuff, then I guess you can always go over here, front view, rotate it down like there. But now I'm not flat. I want that at 0. There we go. Rotate on my Z. Maybe go down a little bit. No, I'll go up. There we go. I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to go up. Then I'm going to rotate down. There we go. And see, now I'm still at 0, whereas if I use this, see how it's going off at a weird angle? I don't like that. Takes a little longer, but I think the result's a little bit better. You get a little more control. Okay, let's see how this looks. I didn't save again. Oh, should be okay. So this scene is has 9.5 million faces in it. That's pretty cool. And when you guys get done with this, post a link to whatever you created, maybe some different angles, maybe different color variations. That would be cool too. Or maybe you have the full watch with the leather band and whatnot. I would enjoy seeing that. I posted this over at blenderartist.org, and it's in the tutorial section, and a guy, he posted his what he's created so far, and it looked pretty cool. I thought it was really neat that I was able to help somebody make something kind of cool. I do want this more reflective. This inner groove part. There we go. I like that. Yeah, it blends in. I know, but I think it looks pretty sweet. I think I'm going to call it quits on this guy. I'm happy with it. I think it looks sweet. Hopefully you guys have some cool results. I hope I was able to teach you some stuff. I'm going to have a lot more tutorials coming. They're going to be a lot shorter. I'll have a couple big ones like this, but I have another baby on the way, so I won't have a ton of time to be doing big stuff like this. So for our render settings, over here on your render tab, I'm going to use my GPU, resolution 1920 by 1080, 100%. So that way it'll actually be 1920 by 1080. I think by default this is set to 50, so that's going to be half of whatever this is. So make sure that's 100. I use PNG, RGBA, 16-bit color depth, just because I am on path tracing, which you should be too. Now, when it comes to my samples, I'm going to render it at 500 samples. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of metal in this. So I think my original one, I did 1500 samples. And I had denoising. Yeah, I had this on a 4. If you have this up higher, you'll lose detail. Sometimes I put it at 2, but I don't really know if that does much. I'm going to leave it at 4. Why not? And those are my render settings. So yeah, hopefully you liked the video, and I'm going to have a lot more soon. So let's hit F12 to render and submit your result. Thanks for watching the video.